Calling a questioner here from Cedar Rapids, who Stephanie Griffin is a member and an employee at Teamsters Local 238, and her father Lawrence Koch is a member and retiree of Local 238, and her issue is pensions.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Senator. Thank you for being here today. As I already stated, my name is Stephanie Griffin. I am a proud Teamster member, and this handsome man next to me is my dad, a proud Teamster retiree. He has 30 years of service as a truck driver. He first started working for Hubbard Feeds. He would deliver animal feed to various customers over a 4-state area. When I was a little girl, there were times that I got to go right along with my dad. And it was really awesome to ride in that big truck. I still remember the smell of the animal feed. I love that smell. I don't know if anybody else here in Iowa feels that way, but I do. And it meant a lot to watch him work so hard and have pride in his work, and I will never forget those experiences. Hubbard Feeds eventually closed, and he worked for a bread company as a driver, and he retired from King's Material as a cement truck driver. Over those 30 years, he paid into the Central States Pension Fund so that he could retire with pride and dignity, and that is no longer the future that he sees. I too pay into the Central States Pension Fund and have for 18 years. I should probably be concerned with myself and what I will do to make ends meet if I don't have that pension, but my concern is solely with my dad. Sorry. This truly is a crisis for our family and hundreds of thousands of other families who are looking to lose their pensions and their incomes. Please share your plan to shore up the pension funds so that my dad and thousands of other retirees, including many people sitting in this room, can stop worrying about losing their incomes and their livelihoods and get back to enjoying their retirements.
Thank you so much. All of you have been involved in negotiations with your employer. You sit down and you negotiate a contract. Sometimes you get what you want, and sometimes you don't get what you want. But you know what the deal is. You know what happened when you leave the bargaining table and when you sign the contract. What is particularly outrageous and disgusting about what happened some 5 years ago in terms of the legislation that allowed for massive cuts to people's pensions is that a promise, a fairly sacred promise, made to thousands and thousands of workers, that promise was broken in an incredibly callous way. So in other words, if I negotiate a contract with you and you only get 2%, you wanted 5%, you're unhappy, but you know the deal. But when your father and you are paying in year after year, giving up wage increases, giving up health care benefits, you're paying in because you want to know that when you retire, you're going to be able to retire with security and dignity. And then, through no fault of your own, one day you learn that in the middle of the night, quite literally, as part of a big omnibus spending bill, a provision was put in there which says that pensions could be cut 30, 40, 50%. That is disgusting. That is outrageous. That is not acceptable. You don't make promises to workers. You don't have workers paying in year after year after year and then suddenly have the rug pulled out under them. Now, you ask me what I will do. Well, we have introduced legislation similar to Butch Lewis. It's a little bit stronger. But here is a promise I make to you without the slightest hesitancy. My Secretary of Treasury, under which this whole thing lies, will never allow for a cut to a pension when that worker was promised that pension. It will not happen. And this is a promise that's not that hard to keep. Remember, a couple of years ago, Trump and his friends gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and large corporations. What we're talking about here is a gap of some $30 billion. $30 billion is a lot of money, but compared to $1 trillion tax break for the rich, ain't so much money. So that is $30 billion that we can come up with to make those pensions whole, and I will, in fact, do that. And the reason, as I said a moment ago, that I voted against that omnibus bill was precisely because that provision was in there.